All right, I thought I would do a quick garden tour for the spring of 2022. It's the end of May right now. Um, just kind of go over some of what we're doing this year, what we're doing different, just to mostly to help remind myself later down. Uh, but some of the big things that we're doing a lot of this landscaping fabric, the weed barrier, which is working out really nice. This is my third year of growing over it. I've done 2 years of peppers and tomatoes over this stuff, and it worked really nice. It really cuts down the weeding time, which is number one. If I can do a little bit of extra work now and do less work later, I'm all for it. So we've got the landscaping fabric. We're using some of these silage tarps to help kind of cover everything out and keep the soil dry. We're having a lot of these rainstorms this spring, and it's really helped us stay on the garden. The fabric too, especially. I mean, you can go out here. We've had a whole weekend of rain now, and I've been out here planting and tilling and picking up, putting in peppers and all kinds of stuff, picking weeds. So it's really worked out really nice. So I'm gonna flip the camera, kind of show some of what we're doing. So here we've got some of our more recent subplantings of onions, some of our succession plantings. Some of those we put in a few weeks ago, several weeks ago. I started those from seed, and then we also picked up some onion sets, which is the bulk of this. Some of the stuff that didn't take, I came out here and I co-planted in some lettuce, some butter crunch. I believe that might be some red sales, some kale. Put it in here. Seems like the fabric is doing a really nice job of just kind of keeping the weeds down. I can go through, I can pick around every onion and not have to worry too much about it. I hope there's not a lot of wind noise on this. I'll do what I can. The next thing here is our tomatoes and a couple tomatillos. Almost exclusively heirloom tomatoes, Cherokee Purple. We've also got, we tried some new stuff here this year, some pink Berkeley tie-dye, just a whole slew of varieties. And we've got our peppers. The peppers this year we're doing on the Florida weave. See, I've got the rebar jammed in there right now. The tomatoes are on this satin trellis to make you jealous. Some T-posts, some 1.5-inch PVC fittings, and some 3/4 inch conduit with some twine for each tomato. I've got some of the plastic tomato clips to hold that up, so I think that's going to work really nice. We'll see how that goes. I've still got another bed I can put in here. I could potentially put something along either sides of this, but this is our row of squash here. So we've got couple different kinds of zucchini, some butternut squash, some spaghetti squash. Hopefully, we'll see if that took. We've got some watermelons in here, and then these last 4 or 5 holes, I went ahead and jammed some lettuce in that, just to be able to fill that hole and have something to succession plant into later when that's done. This is our biggest experiment this year. I don't think I would want to do a lot of this, but I think for just enough for us, I think this is going to work out pretty nice, is trying the sweet corn over the landscaping fabric. Underneath of these beds over here, there's 4 rows of some no-till beds, the cardboard on the bottom with the compost, about 4 to 6 inches of compost on top. And then those are 30 inches wide, and then I've got 18-inch rows of wood chips in the middle to have as walkways, which is working really good. All that's laid out standard 50-foot long, 30 and 18 inches, and that's how the fabric's laid out then. So when I go back next year, I can just keep laying everything out to the same pattern. Under the zucchini and the squash here, I did a really rough version of that. I just shoveled a big scoopful of compost underneath each one of these holes as my mound, and that was it. I did a little bit of amendments, and I just used the compost as the mound. So there's a clump of compost under each one of these. And then for the corn, I tilled some of the ground up. I added some organic amendments. I did a little bit of compost, just scattered some across the top of there, raked it in, and burnt my holes and planted into it. All of this is on drip irrigation, which is so far really, really nice. I've got my valves here. I can control what gets water and what doesn't if I need to. It's on a 1-inch trunk line with 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, I'm not sure, drip tube. That's just got the weep holes in it. They hooked each one of these fittings here. That runs over to the spigot where I've got a water filter on it. That's really, really working good. It's just easy to forget to turn it back off because you don't see anything going on. Definitely some things I've learned on this. It does work really good. I mean, you can come out here, I mean, like I said, we've had a couple of days of rain. You can see there's standing water. Everything's wet. But I can walk on all this and without the first bit of issue. That might be a little better. But something I've definitely learned that's important is lots of staples and lots of weight. So I've got 3 foot on center, roughly, on my staples. That's to keep the wind from whipping this up. The posts help, but I've had some issues with the wind whipping this stuff up and flapping it, and I broke one pepper, covering some branches, that kind of thing. The more all this gets established, the more rains and everything we get on it, the less that'll be an issue. But lots of staples, definitely. Yeah, everything's looking really good so far. The peppers were pretty yellow when I put them in, but all the new growth on them is really green, so that's a good sign. I think they'll be fine. Like I said, I've still got one more bed I can put in here. Earlier this year we came in and we doubled the size of our little orchard over there. We put in 7 more trees. We just got our beehives, which are right over there. This is our 2nd year having bees, so fingers crossed we don't lose them again. This year we're going to do a little more staying up on the treatments. Take you over here. We're running our sheep on the Premier 1 netting, which seems to work really nice. Running them on the old garden plot. They are ready to move. They're anxious. They've been here a couple days. I've got some laying chickens over there, some of the all black chickens, which will be pretty neat to see. We'll come over here. This pig pen we'll eventually do something a little better with, but it's working for now. This year we've got 3 Berkshire. These guys are getting big. I think they go the last week of June to the butcher. Right now, I mean, like I said, we've had a bunch of rain. You can see how wet it is over here in some of this. But I'm keeping all these wood chips on top of where they use the bathroom here. And the pigs tend to go in the same area, and just keeping that layered on top, there's no odor. It's really nice. And they're running back into there. They're running on 2 strands of hot wire. It's the PowerFlex poly braid. Really good hot wire rope. I'm keeping them there in the woods, and they're working the back of the pond dam right now. This is the feeder that we built this year. I just got the Rural King 2-pig feeder. It's doing okay. It's kind of getting beat up. We'll see how it lasts once they get to full size. And then I've got a stainless steel water I got off Amazon. I think I got this idea from Keeping It Dutch or Living Traditions Homestead, or maybe both, I don't recall, but that's where I got this idea. This is a old piece of deck, and then a backer board. Everything's mounted rigid. There's nothing they have to step on. They have to step up onto this out of the mud to eat. So it keeps them clean, keeps everything clean, or at least as you can be with pigs. And it's working really nice. Here we've got a couple of nut trees, some peach trees, some big hazelnut bushes, which we haven't really done a lot with. Come back over here and show you the rest of the garden. We've got we've kind of been using this for squash. My dad plants a lot of squash on that. I think he's got some long neck zucchini on it. I don't know how I feel about it. It's hard to get. You can see all the weeds on it right now. It's hard to cultivate around. This is our pole bean trellis that I put up a few years ago with some heavy cable through some eyelets on some telephone poles. That's working really good. We really like how it creates a big wall of green when it's full. But it's the weight, you can see how much it sags maybe. The weight's kind of been an issue. Here we've got our 3 rows of potatoes that are doing okay. They are a little bit on the wet side over here. I'm going to put in a few more rows just to hedge my bets. This is our row of garlic. This is on the landscape fabric as well, on the same pattern as my onions and what will eventually be my lettuce. This is my first year growing garlic, and it's doing pretty good, I think. We'll see how it does. We've got a couple random pieces jammed in over there that seem to be doing a little better than these guys, and I don't know why. But I've got a little bit here that I got from the Amish, from the grocery store, just that I planted, and then all the rest of this is stuff that I got from a local guy. There's a couple different varieties. I think there's three or four varieties here total. This is my little strawberry row that's overweeded and sad right now. I just put it in the fall, so it needs some attention, but some of the strawberries are doing okay. Hopefully this year we can just mulch it in really well and they'll take off. This will soon be our asparagus bed. Once I get around to planting the crowns that we've got in there. I also started a bunch of asparagus from seed. Those guys over there are just some different perennial plants that the wife brought home that I jammed in the ground just to keep them from dying from me not watering them. Go over here. This is our grow table. We've got a lot of blackberries, raspberries, thornless, some of our starts. Not a lot going on in the greenhouse right now. And then we'll walk out. These are some of our grapes that they do pretty well most years, but they kind of overtake the porch. We do like them. They're seeded grape. These are our wood chip piles. These are for the berry patch here. So we've got some blackberries on either end of this row with some raspberries taken over in between. We've got a row of blueberries here that we're trying out. They're doing okay. And then some thorn blackberries there on that last row. We're gonna, I think, try to expand all this in the next couple years, where this entire corner here is mulch and all berries. I'm trying to cut down on all the mowing I have to do. Just about it. There's the barn. We've got our strawberry patch the last several years me and Dad put in. These guys really exploded. I took a lot of diggings on these to put in that other row over there, so those should do well as well. Our asparagus, which is actually still coming up, sending up some new shoots. Not a lot. It's hard to see in the video, but and then we've got our horseradish, which we just took one of our first harvests off of last year. Harvested it for a few years, and seems like harvesting it last year, this this fall, this spring, really caused it to expand. I see there's a lot of new shoots over here that I don't remember being in here. So I think that's pretty much it. Just my my springtime tour of the barn. Like I said, this is end of May 2022. Mostly recording this for myself, just to be able to look back and see where we were at. I think it's what is it, May 22nd. So remember that. I guess I don't have to get a video. Okay, that about does it. Thanks.